Hi, we're here with the International Wedding Festival. I'm Chuck with Endearing Films. I'm here with Lori Cole. We decided to do a segment to kind of inform brides about what the do's and don'ts are for their weddings. But like I said, we're here with Lori Cole.
Hi there, how are you?
What do you do, Lori?
I am a wedding planner, designer. We do production and coordination. We also do some in-house services like florals, bartending teams, photo booth.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And see, so the reason why we wanted to do this today is to actually go kind of over what do wedding planners do? What can brides expect from a wedding planner? What are some of the reasons why a bride should be looking for a wedding planner aside from, or other than doing it herself? And what is that process like? So in your opinion, what are some of the main reasons why a bride should consider a wedding planner?
Well, I think the biggest reason is that brides don't know what they don't know. Most of them are first-time brides. They have not planned a wedding before. A lot of moms, are efficient and capable. They've been throwing parties and things like that, but they've been out of the wedding loop for so long that it makes it even difficult for a mom to plan a wedding, even though they've planned maybe their own wedding in the past. So they just don't know the questions to ask. They don't know how to start with budget. They don't know where to start, period. So that's probably the biggest reason. The other main reason would be that while you're paying a wedding planner, so you're putting that money out, we can also be really helpful with helping you plan your budget and not making mistakes. So mistakes for a wedding can be costly, as you can imagine.
So just touching on that a little bit. So you're saying that a big part about it is knowing what to do with the budget that you have, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, with our experience, we can take a budget, even if it's considered a smaller budget in the grand scheme of wedding planning, and we can tell you how to maximize that budget so that you can maybe not get everything you want. Some brides come in, when they get a little sticker shock with the cost of things, but at least we can maximize it and hit your priorities with your budget.
Now, do you see that that's something that actually happens a lot? Brides are coming in, they're getting sticker shock, they're like, oh my goodness.
Absolutely. The first thing that we always recommend to our brides always is don't buy or book anything until you've established your budget. So, because what happens, and we run into this a lot, we'll get a bride that isn't in the very beginning of the process, and she will have booked something that's technically out of her budget, and maybe it wasn't one of her priorities of what she wanted for her wedding. So then down the road, when money's getting slimmer, she has to make choices that could have been more to her advantage had she made the right choice day one.
Let's shift gears a little bit. So from a customer's perspective, from what you've seen over the years, what do you think that brides think that wedding planners actually do compared to what you truly do?
I think a lot of brides, sometimes they come in and they have the attitude that we're going to be like their personal assistant. And while we are in a certain sense, we also have a job to do. So when you come in, like I said, first thing we're going to do is help you establish your budget. And then we're going to act as just kind of your friend and the little voice on your shoulder along the way that says, okay, you should be doing this now, you should be doing this. Some brides do come in and they think that we're responsible for like running personal errands for them, or managing things that maybe their bridesmaids should be managing.
I would also say too, would you find that would be dependent on the level of wedding planner? Like there might be planners out there that are willing to, or that are going to do that, but you should understand that would come with a significant price increase because it's a lot of extra work on your end, and that extra work has to go for something.
Right, and absolutely. I mean, we have that ability. The thing that we stress when they come in is when they book one of our planning packages with us initially, it's one person. So, sometimes on day of, if it's a really big wedding, for us, if we hit over 200 people and the ceremony and the reception are in different locations, we require a second assistant. If they want things like, someone's going to make sure all of the girls' personal items get into the limo and things like that that would fall into the personal assistant category. We can definitely provide that staff, but in general, when you book a planning package with us, we're managing people and logistics.
So what would you say if, like, whenever it comes to the personal assistant, someone to run errands, would you think that, I always tell brides, and this is coming from a photographer's perspective, that it's a good idea to have someone in your family, an aunt, uncle, maybe your mom, who can go and do those things for you that you can't do otherwise. Do you think that it's more beneficial to have a close family member do that, or a close friend do that, or to actually just say, hey, Lori, can you find someone that can pretty much be my gopher for the day of?
It would totally depend on their budget.
Yeah.
Whether they want to pay someone to do that. We don't ever recommend that we put moms or usually close friends already in the wedding party. We usually don't recommend putting them in charge of a job on wedding day because we would rather see them enjoy the day.
See, that's something I never even thought about. Oh my goodness, I never even thought about it. I've been giving that piece of advice for the better part of like 3 years now. You know, hey, put somebody in charge of, not necessarily someone who is going to be like in the party, but like someone who's going to be outside the party, mom, aunts, something like that. Never even bothered to consider, hey, it's much better to have your guests just enjoy the day altogether and possibly get somebody outside of that than go about it that way. That's really interesting. What do you think is another tip like that most people, most brides wouldn't even think of? Like, what do you think is like one of the most overlooked things in that aspect?
One of the biggest things that we run into, especially in our area, we have a lot of brides that are DIY. And we don't mind DIY. We try to work with them and help them plan accordingly and get them on a time schedule for what they want to DIY. But our brides severely underestimate the amount of staff that they need. So they will show up with tons of stuff that has to be put into place. Knickknacks and vintage tables and just decor in general. And they have no plan for who's going to set that up and who's going to break it down at the end of the night, which is usually where the problem occurs, is the end of the night. So we really try to be on top of that and address that before wedding day. We do have staff that we can hire for pretty much anything they need on wedding day, but if they have decor like that coming in, we highly recommend hiring staff to do setup and breakdown. Your single person planner, which is for us, it's your initial package, that would not be part of what you could expect for them to do today. They just don't have the time for it. And being one person, I'll use a little bit of a humorous story. I had a bride a couple summers ago, and I knew she was doing a lot of DIY stuff. And I kept telling her, I need a list of everything you're bringing so that we can determine, do I need to bring someone with me? Do you need to find someone to come do that for you? Who's breaking it down? Kept bugging her. Finally, about 2 weeks out, I was like, look, I need this, or you can't, we can't be responsible for this. She gives me a list. It has maybe 10, 12 items on it. And the day of the wedding, a horse trailer, like a 20-foot horse trailer, pulls up.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the driver gets out and asks if I know where Lori's at. And I was like, it depends on what you want to do with Lori. I'm like, because I'm thinking to myself, this is not what I think it is. And it was. He opened the back of the trailer. It was filled top to bottom, front to back with furniture, decor, things that hadn't been cleaned.
Really?
Dirty mason jars, vintage furniture, just a random collection of stuff that we had no idea what the bride's vision was, nor did we have any staff to do it. So it literally, unfortunately, came to me going in and telling the wedding party and the bride, like, unless you have people that are coming to take care of this, it's going to stay in the trailer. So those are the kind of things that the brides really underestimate.
One of the last things I want to touch on before we do sign off today, because we do want to keep these kind of short. For someone who shops online quite often, and I do a lot, One of the big things that I find is whenever I'm searching for services, whenever I'm searching for products and stuff like that, I usually go off from recommendations. I usually go off from what other people have done and have had access to. So in your opinion, do you think that that's a really good way or that's a really good reason why brides should definitely hire a wedding planner? That way you can just weed through all of the noise of all of the vendors that are sending you all this stuff, and you can get down to, hey, these are the core people that I've worked with, these are the core people that I know that are good, these are people that I know that will do good work. That way it takes that guesswork and the possibility of getting another vendor or something like that that might be less than, or like, you have a caterer that shows up late, things of that nature. That's probably really beneficial in hiring a wedding planner. And I'd also like to hear your take on that.
The online sometimes can be super intimidating. I think online reviews, you cannot base a wedding decision on those solely alone. I agree, like as a wedding planner, we're always willing to work with new vendors, and we have brides that come to us with existing vendors in place that we don't know. But definitely it's an advantage. If I can tell my bride, oh, hey, bride, I have this fantastic, video photo company that I work with all the time, and I know that they can deliver what you want. Their pricing is competitive. It takes one less worry out of what they have to do on their checklist. Definitely.
And then even like I said too, for every single thing, florist, you guys deal with everything from top to bottom. Right.
And we still work with other vendors. We are still a small company, so if we have a really large wedding, we would never take on the florals and the planning at the same time.
Oh, I was meaning more like within a network.
Absolutely.
You have a network of professionals.
Absolutely. We have a network, not only through the International Wedding Festival, but other weddings. We travel a lot to Carmel, Monterey, Santa Cruz. We're going to all of those this year, and we have a network of people that we work with there locally. And I think a referral from a wedding planner, the one thing that kind of bothers me is we don't take kickbacks from a vendor. And because I would never want to put myself in a situation.
That's really big too, because I know plenty of planners that do. They require it.
Yeah, and I do not. I would rather work with somebody more on a face-to-face basis that, we are equally give and take to each other as companies, than have, say something goes wrong and they come back to me and they have found out that, I took a kickback from a vendor that I referred. That makes it look like I only referred them for the money, and I would never want somebody to do that for me, and I certainly don't want to do it for someone else. So we don't do any type of kickbacks. I know people do, but that's just not my thing.
There are some planners out there that do. I mean, I can definitely say that. I think that's going to be it for this episode. Again, we still don't have an edit for the show, so if anybody's watching, anybody has any ideas, I think that'd be great. Hit us up, let us know.
Submit some fun ideas.
Submit some fun ideas for the show. But I'm Charles, again, with Endearing Films. We're here on behalf of the International Wedding Festival. This is Lori Cole. By the way, if someone was looking for your business, where would they find you, aside from, hey, go on my website, or what are your guys' social media tags and stuff like that?
We are on social media, all under Lori Cole Events. So we primarily stay to Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Those seem to be our biggest, but we also get a lot of following now from Pinterest. You guys all know Pinterest if you're a bride watching this. So you can find us in all those places.
Yeah, so go and follow Lori. Make sure you guys are staying tuned to the International Wedding Festival. Come out to one of the shows. Come out and see us. You can come out and see Mario and myself. Mario is actually right behind the camera. He's producing the show today, so that'd be great.
Thanks, Mario.
And aside from that, we're just going to sign off. Thank you so much.
Thank you.